Good day, viewers. My name is Mr. Famakade from A Plus Model School. Today we'll be looking into the subject social study. On this, we want to look into people and their environment. Under this, we'll be looking into the topic pollution. We'll be looking under it as a subtopic, pollution. Now, on our next slide, we have the objectives of the lesson. That is, people should be able to explain 1. The meaning of pollution, 2. Types of pollution, 3. Sources and causes of pollution, and 4. Prevention of pollution. Now, to start with, we have the meaning of pollution. What is pollution? Pollution is the release of harmful substances into the atmosphere or environment. That is, when harmful substances that can affect human's life negatively are released into the atmosphere, that is what we call a pollution. Now we have types of pollution. We have air pollution, water pollution, solid waste pollution, and noise pollution. Now, what are the sources and causes of pollution? One of the sources as listed above is air. That is, pollution can be gotten from the air. Let's see how air can be polluted. Now, first, air pollution is the release of harmful substances into the air. That is just the simple definition of air pollution. The release of harmful substances into the air, or toxic substances into the air. Now, air can be polluted through various ways. What are the ways through which air can be polluted? 1. Burning of wood, bushes, refuse around residential area will pollute the air that people breathe in. We know as human beings we need air to be able to live. So as a matter of fact, human beings will breathe in oxygen that are released by the plants. So we give back to them carbon dioxide. But that is not where we are going today. But we have to understand the fact that when we burn bushes in our residential area, that is in the place we live, it will lead to air pollution, in the sense that the air will be polluted with smoke, and some of the people that are living in this area, some of them might be asthmatic in nature. That is, might be an asthma patient who doesn't like the smoke that comes out from fire or from a burning bush, and in that case, if care is not taken, can lead to the death of such individual. So that is the explanation on that. Now, secondly, how can air be polluted? People who smoke cigarettes pollute the air around them. So you can imagine people who smoke cigarettes. On the carton of a cigarette is written that smokers are liable to die young. But it is unfortunate that some youths still went ahead to smoke this particular cigarette, when after knowing that they are liable to die young. But that's not the point. The point is that the smoking of this cigarette, the smoke that is coming out of it, is directly polluting the air around them. So that is the actual fact of people who smoke cigarettes. Now, the Roman figure 3 on this is when heaps of refuse start to decompose, the smell will pollute the environment. Now, what do we mean by heaps? Heaps of refuse means that a place where refuse are dumped, a place where wastes are dumped. When you eat food, the remnant of your food, that is the remaining food that you normally throw away, the place you normally throw it to is called the refuse dump. Now, what now happen? How can the environment be polluted through this? It can be polluted in the sense that when you finish eating this food and you dump it there, you ate rice, you dump it there, you dump it there, and so on and so forth, you dump them on that pit. What happens later is that those food you have thrown there, or a dead live animal that you have thrown on that pit, will decompose. And when it decomposes and it is not properly managed, it will turn to a pollution to the environment that is being exposed to. Now, on our fourth point on this is dead animals left to decay will also pollute the air around it. Now, dead animal, if they are left to decay, like when a goat dies on the road or on a particular area or at a particular area, you find out that the goats sometimes are left there melting, are left there decaying. And while they are decaying, maggots will be coming out of them, and at the end of the day, what will happen? It will lead to a pollution to the health of people around that area, because it will turn to a very unabsorbable smell around them, which can lead to a danger on their heads. Now, the number 5 point is that smoke from the exhaust pipes of cars and lorries, that is exhaust cars of cars and lorries. What do we meant by exhaust? Exhaust is another word for silencer in a car or lorries. So the smoke, there are some cars that are not supposed to be walking on our road because, or they are not supposed to be drived on our road because of the smokes that comes out of their silencer. Sometimes are dangerous. They are very dangerous. The smokes that comes out of it is called carbon monoxide, and carbon monoxide is very dangerous for human health. We need carbon dioxide and not carbon monoxide. Now, the point 6 on this is that poisonous chemical used in some industries also pollute the air. Some big industry or large industry at the city can pollute the air through the release of smokes from their expellants in the factory. So they can actually pollute the air through the waste smoke, the waste in the factory that is expelled as a gaseous particle into the air can pollute the air and directly or indirectly affecting humans' health. Now, on our next slide, we have the number 2 on types of pollution. We have noise pollution. Now, what is noise pollution? This involves unpleasant sound in the environment. That is, the simple definition of noise pollution is when there are unpleasant sound in the environment. That is too much of sound, like club area, club where people go, nightclub, where there is too much of sound from the speaker, from a stereo. So at the end of the day, it can lead to total deafness or partial deafness of such individual living in that environment. Now, lastly, we have water pollution. This is the release of harmful substances into the water bodies. People pollute the water through many ways. Now, we have many ways through which people pollute waters. Now, number 1 is that dumping of refuse into the stream and rivers. Now, people can pollute water by dumping refuse into the streams and river. And what happens? The fish or the fishes that are living inside the water will be polluted. And if they are polluted and human being went there to get cut of those fishes, what will happen? Directly, the person will be polluted in his own heart also, and that will affect the person's health. So the second one is that some people defecate in the stream. Some people go to the stream to defecate, which is not proper. One way or the other, they have polluted the stream or the river. Point C is that washing of clothes and other things in the river. Some people actually go to the river to wash clothes, and one way or the other, some people might carelessly drink from that water which someone has washed clothes inside. So one way or the other, the person might contact a disease, and that can be resulted from the direct pollution of the person that has washed his or her clothes in that river. So when you wash clothes in a river is not proper. It can pollute the rivers with the stains that are extracted from your clothes. Now the last point on this is some companies channel their waste to the rivers and stream. Some big companies, what they do is that they will put a kind of passage from their industry or factory or company to a nearby river, so that any waste that is coming out, any chemical waste that is coming out of the factory will go directly to the stream. And when that happen, what happen? It affects the aquatic life. When I say aquatic life, that is the fishes and the corals that are living inside the water will be affected. Now, lastly, on the types of pollution is solid waste. What are solid waste? This involves the dumping of refuse and sewage in an improper manner into the environment, or the indiscriminate dumping of waste into the environment. That is, when solid waste in particular are dumped indiscriminately into the environment, it is called a solid waste or solid pollution or solid waste pollution. And what is that sewage? Sewage are just like our feces. There are feces that we actually excrete out as a waste product. Then also we have other solid waste such as nylon and so on and so forth, which can be as a result to a pollution in our environment. Now, how can pollution be reduced in our environment? One, there should be ban on bush burning and refuse burning around the homes. That is, government should make sure that there is a kind of legal backing to people that burns bushes or anything around their homes. They should be prosecuted for that or arrested if caught. Now, number two is that vehicles that emit smoke should be banned from the road. Like I earlier said on the previous slide, that there are some vehicles that their car exhaust or their exhaust are bringing out smoke. So those kind of vehicles has to be banned from walking on the road so as to avoid polluting human's health. And also, number three, there should be campaign against smoking of cigarettes, especially in public places. So you see that some people, they go ahead to smoke cigarettes in public places. So this should be cancelled. This should be stopped so that there won't be pollution to human's health. Now, number four is that things like decomposing refuse and dead animals should be removed from the environment. That is, those of your waste products from your homes, in terms of food that you eat, the remnant of your food, the remaining part of your food that you go to throw on the dump heap. So those are decomposing material. And dead animals, sometimes we throw them on those dump heap. So they should be properly removed from the environment to avoid pollution. Now, number five on this is proper place of dumping refuse should be provided. That is, at least government or any instituted authority or constituted authority should be able to set a place where refuse can be properly dumped. Now, number six on this is clubs and all other noisy centers should be sited away from homes or properly handled to its minimal level of less pollution or hazardous to human health. So clubs and all other noisy centers should be sited away from where people live so that to avoid pollutions on their health. Now, number seven is that all sources of water pollution should be stopped and people responsible should be warned. That is, people that are responsible for polluting water through the channel that are set from their company or factory or their houses should be warned not to do that, and those things should stop immediately. Now, number 8 on this is proper place for dumping of refuse should be provided. Like we have said in that point 5, that a place of refuse should be provided. So we are emphasizing on that again on that point 8, that a proper place should be made available for dumping of refuse. Now that is the last part of our lesson for today. Our assignment, like I always said, is that you should read and reread the slides in each of those notes on this lesson, so as to have a better understanding on it. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if there is any diagrams or any instructional material that needed to be known, you can go to research on them, or in our next lesson I will try and provide for that. But based on one or two things, we won't be able to do that on this lesson. Thank you and God bless you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.